I have a sneaking suspicion. You're going to have to hit accept that, but I have a sneaking suspicion that we're going to get into something that you guys are probably going to want to see again. I'm going to talk fast. We're going to have a lot to jump into if you want to get into that stuff. So we'll have to dig in and figure it out. All right, good. Chris, what are you here for? Team lead. If you're not able to talk, that's fine too. No big deal. Sharif.
Well, I work corporate for what, about 30, close to 30 years now. So I'm looking at possibly just replace that income, be able to do real estate full time within the next few years with the support of my wife, Kara Hazim, who is also on the line.
Oh,
She's
nice.
help me make the transition easy.
That same last name thing, that works out. Good. I'll take that. Good. Kara, what do you need to know? Have you been a real estate agent for a while? Is that?
Yeah, like 14 years, but my husband does all the work. But I'm interested. I reel him in and then I show a house and I give him all the contract and stuff. But
Yeah.
I'm interested. What I like about EXP is the relationship I can have with other realtors and to bring them on and how they can support and help their business as well. So I'm interested in learning about that too, and how just duplicate, recruiting other realtors to come in with us.
Okay.
So for that type of growth with that avenue stream.
All right, cool. Are you with EXP already or no?
Yeah, Sharif and I are. Yeah.
Okay, got it. Cool.
So
All right. So Darren, if you're able to say hey.
Hello.
What do you want to talk about today?
I seriously just got the message probably like an hour ago. So just interested in learning and seeing what you guys have to say.
Okay. So how many of you guys are not with EXP right now?
I'm not.
You're not? Okay, good. So how many of you guys are? So Michelle, how many are with EXP? Because this is
there's about probably 4 or 5 who are not with EXP right now.
All right. So 2 conversations going on here. Number 1 will be, is this the right company for me? Number 2 conversation is, if it's the right company for me, how do we make this business work, and how do I leverage this company to do more business, do more sales, make more money, and or have more business coming to me and more money coming to me doing real estate? Does that sound fair?
And then how to retire too. If there's time for that.
Realtors don't retire, they just die. You guys didn't hear that one yet? You guys didn't know that? You just work until you die. You go to a board event and there's this lady is 95 years old. She's like, I've been doing real estate for 75 years. And she sucked at it so bad for 75 years, she could never stop doing it. She's not working because she wants to. She's working because she has to. And guys, listen, number 1, I don't ever want to be a 95-year-old lady. Like my grandma's 95. She's grumpy as hell. So you got some of those grandmas that are really sweet and cuddly and like, oh, grandma's so lovey. My grandma's like hugging a porcupine backwards. She's not lovey. She's not sweet. She's mean as hell. And now she's 95 and she can say whatever she wants because nobody's going to tell her anything. And she still gets around good. That's the scary part. I think she's going to outlive most of us. So bad combo, right? Great genes and a horrible attitude. Make a grumpy old lady, right? So let's go into a couple things and then you guys can add to this list. So let's say, Russ, first of all, most people that I talk to want to talk to me about making more money. So is that a safe one to talk about today, Michelle? If we talk about that plus dollars. Okay. So let's talk about making more money doing real estate. Would you like to talk about chasing real estate? Can I give you 50 different ways to chase real estate? And you just keep chasing stuff and chasing stuff and chasing stuff until you die. Do you want to learn how to do that?
No.
Okay, so would you rather learn how to get real estate to come to you?
Yes.
Okay, so let's talk about how to attract real estate deals, attract sales. Okay, that's fair. Okay, and then if I could show you some tools that help you do that, show you 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 different tools that you can use to do that. Good, that would be good. And then we can also talk about the first couple parts and pieces that I'm going to talk about will help you also leverage your business, but also set yourself up in a position where if you wanted to, at some point, you could actually leverage this business. When I'm talking about leverage the business, the things that you're doing while you're doing this money-making stuff actually helps you do more things that get more money to come to you and set things up more automatically and or passively, right? So it'd be nice if while I'm doing this, I could have some passive income streams that I'm building along with it, or other ways of putting cash in my pocket in the end, so I don't have to always do this for the rest of my life. Okay, good. So for you guys, I'm looking through video here, and I know every single one of you has done what I've done, and you've done that facial enhancement thing that makes me look not as old and smooths my face out. Like when you see real people in real life, they don't look like this. You know that, right? I'm like, man, my skin looks
Oh,
great.
Hey, Russ, it looks like there's someone waiting for you to admit them.
Not last time I checked.
No, okay.
No, nobody in the waiting room. Usually there's a little thing that sits up at the top and I have to click it to make it go away. So tell them to re-enter again.
Okay.
They're in the wrong waiting room. They're not in mine. So check the number. Somebody else, they're trying to get into somebody else's meeting. By the way, I had somebody else from this meeting trying to get on my last meeting, which was funny. I'm like, hey, you're at 4 o'clock Eastern, which is an hour from now.
Yeah, that's John's wife.
There you
She
go.
popped on. Now she's
Gianni's
doing
trying to
that.
get in, Michelle.
What's that?
Or Gianni's trying to get in the meeting. I don't know.
Yeah, I just told her to leave and re-enter.
Okay.
Yeah, they're not sitting in my waiting room still. So yeah, that happens. It happens sometimes. This time zone thing can be crazy. Okay, so let's get into a couple things. So let's start right off from the top. How do we do more real estate business, get more real estate business to come to us? I'm going to tell you how to do that. And then I'm going to tell you what EXP has for tools to help you do that. Because the last thing I want to do is talk about EXP until you're like, yeah, I want to do that. I'm going to do that. And then do you have tools to do that? And let's talk about the tools to do that. So in the real estate business, I want you guys to learn this process as a real estate agent. You don't want to go into a listing appointment and tell people how great you are. Nobody wants to sit through a listing appointment where you spend the first 20 minutes telling them all the awards you got and all the accolades you got and all the letters of BS you got after your name. And they're like, well, you got all this alphabet soup after your name. They don't care, right? When you sit down with a real estate deal and a listing and you sit down, there's 3 things they care about. Typically 2 things they care about. What is their house worth? And how much is it going to cost for them to sell their house? Number 3, and way down the line, is, am I the right guy for the job of selling your house or not? And most of the time, by the time I get through number 1 and 2, they're already going to know the answer to number 3. So I don't really need to tell them a whole lot. Okay. That's how I do my listing presentation. And here's the reason I do my listing presentation that way. When I sit down with a seller, I ask them for years, what's important to you? And they're like, well, and they give me a bunch of BS. Say, let's still distill this down. Like, you care about, what is your house really worth? We'll get into that. Yeah, perfect, great. And how much is it going to cost to do that? Yes. And then, am I the right person for the job of doing it? Yes, good, cool. Is there anything else that's really important? Nope. So do you really care about the color of my logo? No. Do you really care about the sign in the yard? If I can get your home sold for more than asking price without doing anything that you've ever seen, are you good with that? And they go, yes. So really, the way I do it, you don't care how I do it, you just care that I do it. Yes? And almost everybody except the engineers in Detroit will say, yes, Russ, you're 100%, that's me. Okay, great. So let's just talk about that. Let's get into, what is your house really worth? Let me show you what your house is worth. I'm not going to tell you what your house is worth. I want to show you what your house is worth. Okay. So here's the thing. We as salespeople consistently across the sales world, we don't actually do a good job of selling. Most realtors have no actual formal sales training, which is great. So let me give you the best sales training you could ever have in your life by saying a couple of really simple things to you, and just follow this. The rest of it will be okay. Stop selling tools. Sell what the tool does. Yes. Okay. Jeff is trying to enter now. There you go. Got a Jeff entering here. Okay. So stop trying to sell the tools. Nobody wants the tool. They want what the tool does. They want what the tool has. They want what the tool can create. Okay. Let me give you a perfect example. I've never heard of a single person, and I am a craftsman. I've never heard a single person as a craftsman ever say to me, Russ, I really want a 1/2-inch drill bit. I'm so excited. I can't hardly stand myself. there's something about drill bits that just gets me super excited. And if I could have a gold anodized 1/2-inch drill bit that was able to go into a 3/8-inch chuck drill, oh, that would be my dream come true, Russ. They never, ever, ever have said that to me. I've never heard anybody say that, but I have heard a bunch of people say, I need a 1/2-inch hole. So we got to stop selling the drill bit because nobody wants to buy a drill bit. They want a hole. So you've got a 1/2-inch, you need a 1/2-inch hole? Great. I've got something that'll help you with that. Would you like this? And they go, as a matter of fact, yes, I would. I would love to have that 1/2-inch drill bit because I need a 1/2-inch hole. And I go, oh, really? No kidding. Huh. Like sales 101. You find what somebody needs. And these people are going to be popping in here for the next hour. You find what people need and then sell them that. This is why when we started out, I just asked you guys, what do you want to talk about? I do not want to sell you guys a bunch of blabber and gobbledygook and a bunch of nonsense that you're not ready to buy. I only want to sell you guys what you want to buy. Now, are there a million more things that we can talk about within the EXP brand and ecosystem and all that stuff? Absolutely. Can we have 10 more conversations with 10 more amazing things? Absolutely. But right now, I'm just going to sell you what you need and what you're asking for. First off is, how do I make more money doing real estate? Number 2, do we have some of the tools to do that? How do I track sales? And number 3, how do we leverage some of that? Okay. So I'm going to burn through this pretty quick, and then I'm going to open it up for questions because it can go about 800 different directions here. Okay. So I will pause and take a breath at some point and ask if you got questions. Okay. So let me ask you guys, as real estate people, I meet a person out and about doing whatever I'm doing, and we get to chatting for a minute, and I ask them, what do they do? And they're like, oh, I do blah, 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 blah. They then typically will say, hey, Russell, what do you do? And I say, I am a real estate agent or some variation of that, right? And then what is the next thing that they ask? Almost every single time.
How's the market?
So you guys tell me, put your hand up real quick. If it's not just me, right? I've done this in front of rooms of thousands of people. And every time I'm like, is it just me or is it you guys? I was in Houston, did a session on Friday, did a session on Saturday. And I asked the question, every single person put their hand up in the room, right? Mm-hmm. Everybody gets asked that question all the time. And here's the thing, as a real estate industry and as real estate agents, we are horrible at answering that question. Like, hey guys, I've got a test on Friday, and the test is going to be with one question. And on Friday, you're going to be asked this one question, and the answer is D. Okay. By the way, this question is worth 12 grand. So you want to make sure on Friday, when you get asked a question, you answer D. 12 grand. Good. Okay. So on Friday, the question is, how's the market? You got a chance of A, B, C, D. What is your answer? It's D. Yay, I got 12 grand, right? So here's the problem. We've got a bunch of different ways of answering this question, and I want to tell you the right way to answer this question. This is D, which is none of the above, because most of the real estate industry is going to teach you blah, 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 blah. Well, you got to have your 30-second elevator speech. And my response to that is, no, you don't. Your 30-second elevator speech is garbage. Nobody wants to hear that crap. I've heard it taught and trained 1,000 times. It makes me want to puke. Okay. And then I hear real estate agents go, oh, Russ, it's really hard because nobody wants to give me their information these days. Really? Okay, well, let's fix that. And the other one is like, well, hey, if you want to get people to have that conversation, what you need to do is you need to pick up the phone. And if you bang the phones and call enough people, somebody will want to talk to you. Like, all right, well, I just threw up in my mouth a little bit. No. Right now, I'm not saying there's not a place to make phone calls, and I'm not saying that can't work. I'm just simply saying that I know for fact, being a coach, teach, trainer, and running my own businesses and other people's businesses, that about 2 or 3% of people in the whole business will actually bang the phones, whatever the heck that really means. You make enough calls and you start slamming it, right? That's bang the phones. That's what I picture in my head. Listen, I was a telemarketer for MCI long distance. For those of you that are under 40, back in the day, used to have your local home phone number, and there was a phone actually usually attached to the wall, which is weird now, right? And then you'd make phone calls that were local, but if you had to dial a 1, you had a separate company to utilize to do that. And my job was to get people to utilize our company to do that. So I had about 350 calls a night in 4 hours. And my job was to close as many of those as I could. And I was pretty dang good at it. In 20 hours a week, I made enough money to pay for my little apartment and my car and blah, 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 while I was going to college in Missouri, Springfield, Missouri. So for those Kansas City people, you're just north of me. Went up there a couple of times. By the way, Kansas City barbecue is pretty darn good. Okay, so with that said, this bang the phone thing, I'm good at it. I still hate it. Still don't want to do it. I really don't want to do it now that I got a lot of experience with it. Okay, so what I want to teach you is how to not do that. Okay, so if nothing else you learned from me today, learn this. Free value for you guys. People are going to ask you all the time, how's the market? And your answer is not, well, let me give you my 30-second elevator speech. Your answer is, you know what? That's a really great question. People ask me this question all the time, and I have a market update I do on a monthly basis that tells you exactly what's going on in the market. Do you want me to put you on the list and send it to you? Every single person, every single time says yes. If you come up to the counter and say, I would like some vanilla ice cream, and the lady's like, okay, here's a vanilla ice cream, what are you going to say? Yep, thank you, I'll take that, right? If they don't lick it or lick their hands before they touch it, you're taking it, right? So guys, why are we making this real estate business and this thing that happens to us all the time? Why are we making it so ridiculously complicated? It's not that hard. People go, Russ, but you know, people these days don't want to give out their info. Bull crap. They do it all the time. The reason they don't want to give out their info is because you're trying to fleece them of something. You're trying to get something from them that they don't want, or trying to give them something they don't want. But if they ask you for something and you give them that, they're going to take it almost every single time. Okay. The person that doesn't want to give you their info, you don't want their info because there's something wrong with them. This is the person that walks up to the counter and says, I'd like some vanilla ice cream. And the lady's like, washes her hands, puts on her gloves, scoops you the vanilla ice cream, hands the vanilla ice cream to them and says, here's vanilla ice cream. You want this? And they're like, no. Like, there are people out there like that. Run. Don't walk from them, run from them. Okay. So you've got to get really great at doing a real estate market update every single month. This is something that I bang on everywhere I go. And it's still very, very rare that I see people doing a real estate market update. Okay, so do a real estate market update every single month. It's like having the answer to the question and the test on Friday. You have the answer already. And by the way, that answer, when you do it well, is worth 12 grand. At some time in the next 7 years, statistically, that person's going to move. It's worth 12 grand. It might not be worth 12 grand today, but think about it like this. If I could stack a bunch of those up, I got 12 grand, 12 grand, 12 grand, 12 grand, 12 grand, 12 grand. Over time, those are going to start cashing in. So does this happen the first day? Not so much, but I will tell you, there's a lot of people when they go through and just start doing a market update on a consistent basis, that people start coming to them. They're like, you know, hey, I'm really glad you sent that. I didn't realize I probably still should be buying a house right now. So can you help me buy a house? Uh-huh. Sure. Would you be willing to list my house for me? I don't know, man. I don't know. Maybe. Yeah, you ask a realtor, are they willing to list your house? Hell yeah. The answer is yes, every single time. Even the complete nincompoops in our business will say, yeah. Do you know how to do it? No. You can do it anyway? Yeah. Welcome to real estate. It's how we learn the hard way. Okay. Hopefully you surround yourself with other amazing people that help make that less painful. That's part of what I love with the whole EXP brand, is you have a whole repertoire of people that can help make that easier. Okay. So with that said, if you're going to say to me, how many of you just pop a little hand up quick and say, Russ, I need market update in my life. God, that makes sense. Gee, I should have thought of that. Golly, I wish somebody beat this into me. And by the way, this is something I'm willing to do. How many of you guys are saying that? Yeah. Okay. So if you're going to do that, you're going to want to have a CRM. Okay. CRM is your client relationship management system. This is the system to automatically make sure you've got contact going to your sphere of influence on a regular basis. Okay. So as we're doing this market update and we bump into people and we have this conversation, we are adding them to what we call our sphere of influence. You're like, well, Russ, I wish this was all about EXP. Well, you guys want to know more about EXP, go online. You can read it, right? I'm teaching you how to make money. And I'll show you the tools we have that can help that, okay? Sphere of influence. Do you know what your sphere of influence should convert at? Percentage wise. If I have 200 people in my sphere of influence, how many sales should I do for my sphere of influence? My sphere of influence should convert at about 10%, which means I should have 20 sales coming from my sphere of influence. Wow. You're like, well, Russ, I don't have 10% of my sphere of influence sending me one transaction per year. And my response back to you be, cool, good. So that means you got a little bit of work to do. Here's the great part. I'll give you a solution to that too. Are you okay with that? This is, again, get money to come to you, get business to come to you, doing the things that make sense and work, okay? So we're gonna add people to our market update. We're gonna put them in our sphere of influence. I'm going to add value to them on a monthly basis by doing market update, right? And then what's going to happen is over time, over the next 12 months or so, my sphere of influence is going to start converting at a 10% return. So guys, listen, can you get a deal right out of the gate when you send this to your sphere the first time? Sure, sometimes it happens. I've seen it happen a bunch of times. But what I will tell you is most of the time, if you're like most real estate agents, you've got to do things that help you build credibility, both personal credibility and professional credibility. If we build both professional and personal credibility, when somebody says, hey, man, it's time for me to sell a house, who am I going to call? I'm going to call the person that has the most credibility with me, right? So you guys want to get more listings, you've got to build relationships with people. You've got to build that credibility with people. And there's nothing that builds credibility for a real estate agent more than market updates. Because you're telling them information they want to need. You're saying experty stuff. You're going to deliver it to them in multiple formats. And I saw that question, what CRM do we recommend? I'll tell you that in a second. And with that being said, we can have this coming to them and we're doing a market update on a regular basis. Then somebody says, I need an expert. Who's my expert person? Bing. Now do you see why people come to you? Because they see you as an expert person. They don't see you as the, look at me, I'm a realtor, I just sold a house. Here's me and my stupid dog. We sold a house. Here's me and my stupid dog with stuff. Now listen, I get it. If you post a picture of you with a cat or a dog or a baby, you get way more likes. I totally get that, right? I could care less about likes. I want paychecks. If I want paychecks, I got to start doing real estate market updates. People probably are not going to click on it. They may not even watch it. If you keep it short and simple and interesting, they may watch it on occasion. You might not get a bunch of response from it, but what'll happen is they're going to see it and they're going to be like, oh, that's Russ, the real estate expert. That's Russ, the real estate expert. There's Russ talking about real estate again. There's Russ talking about market. Hey, by the way, if you heard the market went up 15% in inventory in the last year over this year in Detroit, just like I did. Hey, by the way, just so you know, we're at a 1.4 month supply of homes in Michigan now, which means if it goes up another 200%, we're still a seller's market. So by the way, guys, if you're thinking about buying a house, you better buy it now because next year and the year after and the year after, prices are going to still go up. At a 1.4 month supply of homes, prices are still going to go up. At a 2.4 month supply of homes, prices are still going to go up. At a 3.4, they're still going to go up. So if you're waiting for the market to slow down or waiting for interest rates to come down or waiting for prices to go down, you're going to lose $20, $30, $40, $50,000 over the next year waiting for that to happen. So there's Russ. I'm the Russ, the real estate guy. There's your market update for Detroit. Wow, he sounds like an expert, kind of talking experty stuff, right? So by the way, if you want to know what your house is worth, you want someone like me to help you out, give you some information, guidance, don't hesitate to reach out to me. Now you've got a call to action, okay? This is how you get business to come to you. They're not going to come to you every time, but over time, they're going to start seeing you as the one that's telling them the right info, making sense. Okay. My next video, I'm going to say, hey, by the way, guys, if you're hearing that the market's crashing, it's not. You can't have a crash at a 1.4 month supply of homes. So house prices continue to go up. So let me ask you this. If you're renting a house right now, you're paying $1,500 per month in a year, that's $18,000 in the next year. So if you bought a house for $300,000 and it doesn't go up in value at all, you're still $18,000 ahead if the appreciation is zero on that $300,000 house. If you're going to wait 3 or 4 years, what happens is you're paying $18,000 times 3 or 4. So you're paying $60,000 to $80,000 guaranteed loss, hoping that 300 comes down. So are you really sure that waiting in this market is a good idea? You're worried about an interest rate going up 2% and your house payment going up? If you're paying $1,500 a month rent right now, or $2,000 a month rent right now, you're guaranteed to throw away $18,000. So who cares if it costs you an extra $200 or $300 per month for that $300,000 house? Buy a $275,000 house, your payment stays the same, and you guarantee you're not throwing away $18,000 every single year. I'm Russ, the real estate dude. There's a market update you could use. Dang, that was a good one. We're gonna have to clip that out and reuse that. That was a good one, right? Boom, off the top of my bald head. Okay. And guys, that info is factual right now in almost every single one of your markets. Your inventory still has not gone to the point where it's shifting to a seller's market or to a buyer's market. It's still a seller's market in most of your markets. And even with interest rates going up, people freaked out a little bit. They're going to pull back a little bit. And once they go, well, this is a new norm, they're going to start pulling back out and start coming back out, right? You flip the flashlight back off, guess what? The cockroaches start popping back out from the fridge. That was mean. I'm kidding. Okay. So sphere of influence. Okay. So do you need to use a CRM? I recommend using KV Core. And part of that is KV Core is probably one of the most ridiculously robust client relationship management systems you could possibly have. EXP gives you KV Core as part of the cost of doing business. Okay. With KV Core, you've got a couple of things. Number one, you've got the ability to manage your contacts. Okay, so you've got to have something you're managing your contacts. If you're going to run a sphere of influence of 200, 300, 400 people, which you should easily get to get that 20, 30, 40 sales a year, you're going to need to manage it, and you're going to need to have something in keeping details. So like I had to go back into my notes and be like, okay, Michelle Wolf, who is Michelle Wolf? And who am I talking to today? I can't remember. Talked to 40 people since the last time I talked to her on Thursday or Friday. Like, what am I doing here? Like, nobody's going to remember this, right? Nobody has a brain to remember this when you're playing at a high level. So you want to start managing it when you're at a low level so that when it gets to 3 and 4 and 500 people, you do a good job and you don't let people feel like you have no idea who the heck you're talking to. Okay, so managing your sphere is important. The second thing is there's a lot of different things you're going to send out. You're going to send out an email blast. Okay, so I'm going to do a social media post that says, here's what's going on in the market. If you're throwing away $18,000 a year, please stop it. That's part of my market update. I'm going to do that on social media. I'm going to do that once a month for hyper local. Hyper local means your immediate small pocket, because that's where the majority of your business will come from if you're working your sphere, and that's where you hang out. And I'm going to post that 2 times. I'm going to post it today. So today's Monday. I'll post it today. Hey, Russ, real estate dude, talking. Here's market going for Livonia, Michigan, just outside of Detroit. And then 3 days from now, I'm going to post it again. Hey, just in case you missed it, here's a market update for Livonia. Okay. And then I'm going to do my area. So I'm going to do my area, and I'm also going to do that twice. So instead of me going, hey, look at me, here's Russ, me and my stupid dogs, we just sold a house. I'm going to do, hey, by the way, Detroit area, if you're in Detroit whole market, here's what's going on in Detroit whole market. And then 3 days later, I'm going to post again, hey, just in case you missed it, here's an overall Detroit market update. Once every quarter or so, I can do a state update. And then I can also do a national update. Now, some of you might be like, well, Russ, why would I want to do a national update? Well, guys, here's the cool part. If you're in the EXP system, one of the things we have is we have Facebook, we have Workplace by Facebook. Okay, so Facebook Workplace is EXP's connection setup. So you can go on there and you can join their referral network. Okay, so you got referral network. So do you think there's anybody in California that wants to get out of California right now? I'm sorry, let me back up. Do you know for a fact there's a bunch of people that are leaving California, they're tired of their nonsense. They're like, I'm just out of here, right? They're moving to Texas in droves. You see it on the news, right? Even though the news is crazy. And they're moving to Florida, and the New Yorkers are moving to Florida and ruining Florida, right? They're bringing their lovely northeastern subtle way of doing business down to Florida. And the Florida people are like, New York, go home, and everybody's all upset. But there are people outside of your state that are potentially moving in your state. There are people in your state that want to get out of your state. I mean, who the heck is going to live in Kansas City anyway? I mean, the football team sucks. It's not like they're ever going to win the Super Bowl or anything, right? A bunch of barbecue nuts, crazy people, right? So with that said, is there a reason to do a state one? Yeah, because then if I'm talking about the state, even if it doesn't apply to me, they're still like, that Russ is an experty dude talking experty stuff. Right. So I'm building credibility, right? And I can post that once a quarter because most people don't get it, but I can be a connection. Now, in the referral network, there are people all over the country that are generating leads and getting leads. And they're like, hey, I'm selling my house or blah, blah, blah. And I'm moving to
Yeah, but I
Kansas
don't think it matters.
So how do you connect to them, right? You can go on and say, hey, I'm looking to place a referral, or you can go on that referral network and they'll say, hey, I'm looking for an agent in Kansas City. You're like, I'm an agent in Kansas City. And instead of just going, oh, look at me, I'm an agent, I can help them. Hey, by the way, I'm an agent and I do a market update here all the time. Let me send you my market update, tells you what's going on in Kansas City so you can give it to your clients. And then they go, that Russ guy didn't just go, oh, look at me, I'm a realtor. He sent me a market update. And I send that to my clients and the clients are like, oh yeah, we need to buy now. We need to maybe we should buy a house now before we even get out of here. Let's get on that now. So can you do that in the referral network? Yes. Here's the fun part. In EXP, we have 83,000 of our favorite friends playing in the real estate business and pushing referrals all over the place. It is insane when you look at the referral system, the amount of referrals flying back and forth. So by the way, guys, it's easier to get hit by a train when you're standing on the tracks. This is standing on the train tracks. You'll get run over eventually, just stand there for a while. Something's going to hit you eventually. Okay. So that's part of the referral network. People talk about, well, real estate is so hard, Russ. I'm like, well, get on the tracks. I'll get you run over in a week or two. Kidding, of course. But point being is like, people are like, well, I've never been hit by a bus. We got to go play in the street more often. It's part of that. Like, where am I more likely to get wet? Well, you can go stand outside and wait for it to rain, or you can go in this thing I call a shower and you just turn it on, right? So this is building a shower. Okay, so Facebook is cool. So are you going to do a market update? Do you think you should be doing a market update every single month? Yes. Do you need a CRM to manage that so you can send that out in email format also in additional to social media? Yes. Can you also drop this on YouTube? Yes, you should. Right? Drop it on YouTube, and then you can send that YouTube link in there also. You're gonna have that posted to your website, you can post it to podcasts and so forth, and you can manage all that stuff in your CRM also. In addition to that, you're gonna want to mail somebody a printed version of it. And you might say, Russ, just newsflash, snail mail is dead. All right, so let me ask you, if you post something on social media, does everybody see it? No. If you post something on other social media, does everybody see it? Do it twice, does everybody see it? No. If you post it on and send an email out to everybody, does everybody see it? The answer is no. But if I take a piece of paper, fold it up, stick it in an envelope, and I lick the envelope and stick it closed and put it in a mailbox, I guarantee you, if I hand address that every single one of you will touch something that I licked. And you're like, hey, Russ, geez, man, like, that's just disgusting. Well, part of the reason I say stuff like that to you guys is because I want it to stick. Okay. Yes, that's gross. Yes, I'm a boy. Yes, my wife cringes when she's like, why do you do stuff like that? I'm like, because they'll remember it. Right. So the next time you see something in your mail that's hand addressed, there's a really good chance somebody licked that and you're touching something somebody licked. Now in COVID era, that gets really creepy. We sung happy birthday to somebody the other day and they're like, blow out the candles. And I'm going, oh God, no. Like, I'm watching somebody blow candles. I'm like, you will never see somebody blowing out candles again and not be creeped out, right? COVID ruined blowing out candles forever. You don't want another human blowing all over a cake you're going to eat. I'm not even a germaphobe. And now I think that's disgusting. Okay. So lick something and send it to your favorite friends. And then they will touch it with their finger and they'll slide it under the envelope and rip it open, right? Yeah. Okay. The point being is every single one of those will get touched and almost every single one of those will get open. They might open it, glance at it quick and throw it in the garbage. They might even look at it and throw it in the garbage, but they're going to touch it. They're going to bring it in the house and it's going to get in their hands, right? So is mail important? Yes. You got to make sure you're doing that also. Okay. So this is the way you get a market update in everybody's hands and get business to come to you. So add to your sphere of influence and deliver value to them in multiple different fashions. Utilize some of these tools. Okay. With that said, one of the other things that I really love in the EXP system is we have 83,000 people in our company, of which a big portion of them hit what we call icon status. So if you could have a running list of, let's say, I don't know, about 1,500 real estate agents that are doing 30 plus sales a year. And they are not only willing, they are actually willing to show you what they're doing to get those sales. If you could have access to a library of those people doing that, and or 50 or so of those a week doing those types of things, do you think with some proper training you could do better? If you had somebody teaching you this stuff, do you think you can make your business a lot easier? Yes. Even for those of you that are highly successful, closing 80, 90, 100, 120, 130, 140 sales a year, you guys can still learn something. I had a guy on Friday, 75 closings a year, and he looked at me, he's like, Russ, crap, I didn't even know about that. If I had known about this, this would have been way easier for me to build my business. I'm just going to start doing this now instead of chasing all the other nonsense that doesn't pay me. And I was like, you can do this whole system, just doing the market update in 4 or 5 hours. You can do that in one day and have it all set up to move in one day. In one day, you can have all of that going and get business coming to you. He's like, I could probably knock out about half of my business work week chasing a bunch of nonsense around and just do that and get a better return. He's got like 800 people in his sphere of influence. He's got 80 or so sales in his sphere of influence, and he's not doing the basic stuff that gets it coming to him. He's like, I could probably sell way more houses and do it way less time. Yes. So are there trainings that you can do that make sense? Just so you guys know who's talking to you from a perspective. It's not a pat on the back. Just now you'll have an idea who's talking to you. My best year selling houses, closed 143 closings. 1 year. It's 2014. Okay, so it wasn't a million years ago. Okay, so when you talk about, I'm a huge fan of working less hours, making a crap ton of money. I'm a huge fan of taking other people's stuff and stealing it and making it my own. And these people are going to voluntarily give you what they do. Guys, you might think I'm nuts. You might not want to do what I'm doing, but there are a bunch of people out there that'll show you what they're doing. Find what you love, find what you're willing to do, and run with that. That's what I'm suggesting, okay? Find your flavor, find your recipe. Not everybody likes Asian food. Not everybody likes fried chicken. Not everybody likes Kentucky or Kansas City barbecue. Not everybody likes North Carolina barbecue. Ugh. Who eats that stuff, right? Texas barbecue, everybody knows is the best because they keep saying it, right? And they're willing to shoot you over it. So it's got to be pretty good. So everybody's got their own flavor. Find it, right? And all the vegetarians are like, Russ, you didn't include me. Fine. You want to eat leafy vegetables all the time? Knock yourself out. I'm a vegetarian by proxy. I eat the things that eat vegetables. If it had feet, I'll eat it, right? I don't eat anything that swims. Find your flavor, right? I said that one time. I said, I only will eat things that had feet. And the guy leans in and he's like, hey, Russ, I have feet. I was like, dude, that's really disgusting. That's not even funny. That's creepy. Like Hannibal Lecter. Okay. But training, guys, if you could have people show you how to take your business to the next level, if I'm building a team, instead of me being 100% responsible for coming up with everything brilliant, I'm going to give them the basic recipes and then I can turn them loose with training so other people can show them and they can find their flavor. I will have people on my team around me and below me that'll do certain things I won't do. I will have people on my team that won't do anything. It happens. And then I have other people that are just dying no matter what we do. They're like, I just want more, I want more, I want more. Let them have it, right? Now you've got a support system built in and they can take the parts and pieces that they like, and then you benefit from it as a team lead because they've got way more support built into the system. Now, included in that, that's market update only, okay? So if I could show you a way, so you might be like, okay, Russ, well, I'm only at 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 sales a year. I'd love to do another 10. Well, first thing I tell you is add 100 people to your sphere of influence. And you should be able to get 10 more people out of that if you're doing this stuff well. Okay. Now you might say, hey, Russ, well, how else do I get people to come to me and say, hey, I want you, you're my real estate guy? Well, you got to build credibility, right? How else could we build credibility? Michelle, do you have a house?
Yes.
Okay. Does your house always stay in one piece, or does it like to destroy one piece at a time randomly when you're not paying attention?
I hope it stays on one piece.
No, it doesn't, right? Your dishwasher breaks and your
Oh yeah, those things
goes out,
yes.
then you get this gutter falls off, and then the thing goes into, and then this floor piece is peeling up, and then the kitchens are getting old, and then one drawer breaks. And yeah, welcome to owning a house, right? They're like self-destructing organisms, right?
That's true.
Leave it alone to its own devices, it will destroy itself one piece at a time. right? So in the last 4 weeks, I've had a plumber, a drywaller, a painter, and an appliance repair guy at my house. That's 4 weeks. Welcome to being a homeowner. Thankfully, I have a home warranty. That took a lot of the pain out of a couple of them, right? But you know, the other day, the guy put the thing back together when he moved the thing, and then he didn't put the pipe back on the laundry room tub correctly. And the laundry room tub, when my wife ran the laundry, ran water all over the floor and soaked the whole basement floor. So, you know, stuff happens, okay? So do you think, as a real estate professional, that we work with houses, that our people that we work with have houses and their houses are perfect? No. So should we have a preferred contractor list? Okay, so Michelle, since you've invited everybody here, I'm going to send to you a white paper that shows you how to leverage a preferred contractor list. I got somebody trying to get in late. Renee, you're late. Haha. 45 minutes late, still showing up. Love it. I gotta give him a hard
She's
time.
just doing some showings, so she's
Funny.
hard.
Oh no, she's got no excuses. She's late. No excuses. Oh, bust your chops. You're late. Give you a hard time. So here's the deal, Michelle. I'm going to send to you my little white paper that I just scribbled together. Something else.
Awesome.
Can you just write that down? I'm like, yeah. Okay. So if you want to add to your sphere of influence, how do you add to your sphere of influence without ruining people? Hey, I'm Russ, the real estate guy. And by the way, I work with houses, and every time I work with houses, people always have things break. And when they have things break, they usually will call me and say, hey, Russ, who do you have? So do you have, what I need right now is I need a good plumber. If any of you guys know a good plumber, they show up, they're not scary, they don't smell funky, keep their pants pulled up, and they're fair price. If you know somebody that fits those criteria, send them to me. And you'll get a bunch of people on Facebook that'll start pumping stuff in. If you know a bunch of other realtors, you'll find people that'll start giving you info, right? Other people want to help other people when given the opportunity. You give them a perfect opportunity for that. Then what I do is I go through, I make a list of all of them. And then once a week, I'll do that. And then I call each one of them and say, hey, I'm Russ, the real estate guy, building a contractor, preferred contractor list. And I just wanted to know if you're willing to be a referral partner to me. What I expect is I expect you to show up with your pants pulled up, not smelling like stinky burnt bacon and feet, and be a reasonable price and communicate. Can you do that? If you can do that, I'll put you on my list. Here's the thing. 3/4 of those contractors will never call you back. The great part is you just weeded out the 3/4 you don't want, because the last thing I want to do is refer something. You're like, hey, your guy Chris never called me. Great. You're welcome. You know, thanks, Chris. I'm trying to do this guy a favor, and you end up making me look like a dipstick. Okay. So here's the fun part. That's just one plumber. I could do that once a week, add another contractor. And then I could do hey, here's Chris, the contractor. He's a plumber and he shows up on time. He doesn't smell like burnt bacon and stinky feet. He keeps his pants pulled up and he's fair price. And I say that to make you guys remember it. Okay. Don't do that actual. I mean, you could, but probably not. I could get away with it. You might try it, see what happens. Right. So do that. And then, so here's the thing. Do you need one plumber? Or do you need two?
Oh, more.
I need two plumbers. And the reason I need two plumbers is because I've got high-end houses and I've got low-end houses. Are they two different kinds of plumbers? Yeah. If butt crack plumber comes over to the rich house, you've got a problem. He shows up at the cheap house, it's not a big deal, right? They expect it. Okay, so you got two different types of business, two different price points typically also. And then also, guys, even your low-end plumber, if he's good, he's busy. So you want a backup for each of those. So I've got plumber on my list, and I need 4 different plumbers. I need 2 high-end, 2 low-end, a primary, and a backup. If the guy's busy, he's good, you got a backup person. By the way, here's both my plumbers. See which one's available. Sometimes one is, sometimes the other is. I have 4 people I can add to my sphere of influence. If I add one of those sets up every week, that's 4 per week, times the next 10 weeks, there's another 40 people in my sphere. There's another 4 sales over the next year. You should be able to drive out of your sphere of influence. Because by the way, guys, if you're referring business to them, they should probably be referring business to you. By the way, guys, every one of these guys, you got to put them on your market update list. Hey, by the way, every month I do a market update. You want me to send it to you? Yeah, cool, great. So then you'll know what's going on in the market. Yeah, because they're around houses and people always wonder what's going on in houses. Okay, so that's a way to build it. So Michelle, I have a list of 58 different contractors and trades that you can do that with. 58 of them. I need 4 of each. Okay, so that's 232 people I can add to my sphere of influence just promoting other contractors. So I'm going to send you that list. And I'm going to send you little instructions on how to do it. So you got it. And you can only give it to the people on here that you like. The rest of them, you get to control access to that. Okay.
Thanks.
This is the kind of stuff that we do in EXP all the time, training and cross training. I'm doing this for Michelle. Michelle, there's really no dog in my fight. It's dog in a fight for you on this. It's like, I'm doing what I'm doing. I mean, my job is to help people grow, but like, I love to help you grow, and you're willing to help other people grow. You guys trade this information. This does not happen in every type of brokerage. So being in EXP, you can leverage that also. Okay. If you guys want more business to come to you, there's another thing you can do on social media, which is living a good life and promoting that on social media. And you can say, hey, I'm Russ the Realtor, and I'm at Yellow Dog Restaurant outside of Orlando. If you guys haven't been to Yellow Dog, check it out. A little selfie video. And by the way, make sure when you're at Yellow Dog, you check out the menu, read everything on the menu. They've got a bunch of funny, weird things built into their menu. And if you read it, it will make you laugh. They've got some weird stuff. Crazy place, weird building, half eaten by termites. Phenomenal food, great environment, a ton of fun to go to on a Friday night. So if you haven't been to Yellow Dog, check it out. Now, I'm Russ the Realtor, living a cool life, promoting somebody else's business. By the way, I'm Russ the Realtor. Here's Yellow Dog's owner, Bill. Bill, say hi. Bill goes, hi. Great. If you guys haven't been to Yellow Dog, make sure when you go to Yellow Dog, say hi to Bill. He's the owner of the place. He's put together a really cool place. Man, I love coming here, Bill. He's like, thanks, Russ. I really appreciate it. Thanks for promoting. Great. Bill, see you again next week. Now I've promoted another business. I've got a list of businesses and things like that you can promote. Local parks, art fairs, local events, local history things. Hey guys, did you know that this stone right here in this corner, in this place, was put here in 1742 from blah, 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 blah. There's some nerds out there that think that's great. So you got to sometimes nerd out on some weird stuff, but there's a whole bunch of different things you can do with that help build it. And all of these tools within EXP help you do that too. Now, with that said, one of the biggest advantages of EXP is that, that you have the ability to leverage people. Okay. So in the process of going out and about doing my business, are other realtors going to watch my stuff? Are other realtors going to use my market update? Are other realtors going to see my other promotional stuff and go, oh man, that's pretty cool. I'm going to go there with my family. Yeah. So in the process of selling houses, we sell more houses, we're going to make more money. This is how you sell more houses and have the business come to you. Okay. You sell more houses, make more money. In the process of doing that, you're going to bump into other people on the other side of those transactions. So when you're doing 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 140 transactions in a year, you've got 140 or so other agents on the other side of those transactions. Every single one of them, I send them my market update too. I said, hey, you're in the business, I'm in the business. It was nice doing business with you. I really enjoyed it. And what I'd like to do is I'm going to just send you my market update so you got it. Hey, by the way, when you do one, I want you to send it to me because I want to compare notes, because between the 3, 4, 5, 7, 10, 20 of us, we're all going to be talking this stuff. And I want to make sure we're all on the same page. Mine's going to be a little different than yours. You're going to be a little different than mine. Your experience is a little different. I'm going to look at yours, you look at mine, and together we'll be a little bit better and everybody does a better job. I want everybody in this industry to be good. Those real estate agents, when something's a little weird and something's a little rough, they're going to say, you know what, I'm going to call that Michelle girl because that Michelle girl's always been hooking me up with a real estate market update. And she does a funny post and haha, and she told me a story about licking the envelope. And I'm going to ask her, what are you doing? Now, this is how you attract other people to you. In the course of doing business, you can attract other agents. If you attract an agent or two here and there throughout the time doing business. So I'm going to do, let's say you guys should, I want every one of you guys to do 35, 40 transactions a year. That's like my minimum standard for having fun. Okay. If you're doing that, you got 35 or so agents per year. Even if only 5 of them per year want to do something with you at some point, you do that for 10 years, you've got 50 real estate agents. Each one of these real estate agents can be worth $600 to $800 per year. When you start looking at adding that up, just on the first part of it, you can start adding a couple $100 a month very, very quickly to your bottom line. If they do one sale a month, you can get a check for $315, $350 per person. You got 10 of those, you got $3,500 a month coming in. A lot of people will say, well, Russ, but it's an MLM. No, it's actually a referral fee type of scenario. You bring them in, they make the company money. Shouldn't you get something from it? Think about it like this. A guy writes a song, that song company sells that song 1 million times. Do they get a royalty for building that song? Yes. You know, if they play that song on TV, the person that wrote the song gets paid a royalty. Do you know if they use it in the movie, they get paid a royalty? Do you know if they make a theme song and they play that theme song every single time the Simpsons theme song plays, there's a guy named Danny Elfman that gets paid $10,000. How many times have you seen The Simpsons on TV? I don't even watch them and I see them everywhere. That guy gets paid 10 grand every time that show fires up. The reason I know that is because I know him. I built a bass guitar for his composer named Edgardo Simone, who played it on the Terminator movies. These guys told me a story. This is royalties. So think of it more like you bring somebody in, we make some money off them, you get paid a royalty. If they keep selling houses for 20 more years, you get paid a royalty every single time. Does that make sense? Is this an MLM? No, this is, hey, you did a little work, we benefit, you should benefit too. This is you getting paid a royalty for doing something. You help build the company, you should get something for it. And that's part of the reason why this company has grown. And we want to attract more good people to us. Do I want to chase these people? No. I want to get them to come to us. If you do that, even 5 a year for the next 10 years you're doing real estate, that adds up. A couple $100 a month times 30, 40, 50 people. Think about that, guys. Some of these numbers are astronomical. I'm not saying become a recruiter. I'm just simply saying in the course of doing business, add value to everybody around you, like I'm doing with you right now. And in the process of doing that, people are going to want to hang out with you. And you can make money doing that where you can't in almost any other company in the country. And I've got 83,000 referral partners that I can work with. That's pretty cool. So I'm going to pause. I will stick around for a second to answer questions. Man, that was fast.
That was awesome. And I wanted to add too, if anyone had any questions, was that I think the beauty of EXP, like you said, is that it's a platform with all this collaboration and you build the business the way you want to build it. So if you're the agent you refer to come that, first got attracted to the way you do business, well, they want to do their own thing. They want to brand a certain way. They want to go to another country. They can with EXP, and you still benefit from making that referral. That royalty keeps coming in. Yeah. And you just, it's like Russell, could you explain how you said EXP was like a grocery store?
Yeah, EXP is like a grocery store. It's crazy because when you start, one of the promotion things that I'm doing right now is, now that I'm back with EXP again, I said, guys, you guys have grown into an amazing conglomeration of amazing stuff. The problem is there's so much stuff, I'm completely lost. I don't even know where to begin. So I'm personally pioneering EXP Made Simple, talking about this stuff, mostly EXP Made Simple. And I liken it to being in a grocery store. So you can go into a grocery store. So my local grocery store here is Kroger's. In Florida, it was Publix, right? And there's a bunch of, some of you guys have HEBs, right? Piggly Wiggly, whatever you guys have, wherever you are. I think those Kansas City people have Piggly Wigglies for some reason. It just seems like it's right? No, I'm just messing with you. Okay, so with that being said, it's like you can go in. So my thing is like, hey, what do you want to make? Like me, like I don't want fish. I don't want anything that swims. I don't want a cow that swam. If a cow swam a bunch, I'm not eating that either, right? I want something that lived on land. That's me. Or flew. That's fine. Okay, so you can make literally anything you want. So what we want to do is say, okay, well, what do you like? Well, I like cows. Okay, great. Well, let's take you over to the cows. By the way, you're not going to eat just cow, right? You're not from Texas. You're from Kansas City. They eat vegetables with cows and potatoes. What do you want with that? So put together the recipe you want, build that recipe, go into the store, grab the parts you need, grab the spices you need, grab the things you need, and go back out the door. The cool part is once you master one recipe, and you know the part, you walk in the store, I don't even need the recipe now. I can walk in, I know I need chicken, I know I need shallots, I know I need shiitake mushrooms, I know I need whipping cream, I know I need a little bit of butter, got salt, got a couple of spices, I'm gonna get asparagus, boom, 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 boom. I can walk in and come out with shiitake and shallot stuffed chicken breasts with a white wine reduction sauce over a bed of jasmine rice with capers and a side of asparagus. I could do that off the top of my head. Okay, you guys might be like, man, Russ must be hungry. Yes, I'm starving. I didn't get lunch yet today. I will eat my foot. If I get my foot in my mouth, I'd eat it. I stick my foot in my mouth.
Now.
Yeah. So with that said, you build your recipe. You've got all of these things at your fingertips. What recipe do you like? Find your recipe. And there's people that'll teach you and help you actually build that recipe and make that recipe better and hone that. And there's times when people go, hey man, if you did this, and I go, oh yeah. Guys, I can do a pork shoulder in about 5.5 hours. It falls apart, melts in your mouth. It's amazing. 5.5 hours. Kansas City, you get jealous of that, right? So when you find your recipe, don't just keep recreating everybody's recipe. Find what works for you. Find what you love. Find something you get a kick out of, something you enjoy, and build your business doing that. I'll encourage you to build your business doing things you love. Meeting people you know, doing things you're doing things that are fun. Okay. And you have all the tools at your fingertips to do that with EXP. And if you want to retire at a future date, have income still coming in, there's ways to do that too.
Yeah, and that's what the revenue share, and there's also the stock, the equity.
Yep.
That you get too.
You got it. So when these guys were talking, they're talking about wanting to sell more houses and wanting to have business coming to them. So we talk most about that. If you guys want to talk about other streams of income, including you get stocks every time you sell, you get stocks every time you track somebody, you get stocks when you hit certain metrics and bogeys and points, you get stocks when you cap. Sky's the limit. When you start adding it all up as a package, it's amazing. It's incredible. It's not for everybody, but for the ones it is, it's pretty dang amazing. So if you guys want to do it the hard way, go for it. Enjoy. All right, I'll stick around for a couple of minutes for questions. You guys are welcome to jump off. I'm going to shut the recording off so you guys can